and welcome to the Business Spotlight. This is Pat Dewar. I have a great show. Today we're going to be talking about something that impacts almost every business owner out there, and it's your website. And even beyond that, I've brought on an expert in the spectrum of website development that has really the ability to, I want to say, take the technology that's cutting edge and integrate it into your website and your systems of software and business growth online. Chris Heney of stickinyourhead.com, is an expert on the internet from a developmental side as well as a website development side. Chris, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
I want to get into your story because you have kind of always been a bit of a resident bitehead, as in somebody who knows too much about the internet. But tell me, how'd you get started in all that?
Well, I would say starting out at a young age, working for my father, who was a mechanic, I started decompiling his software shop key. Started there, spun out into what I did for the Army, which wasn't being a chemical or biological expert, but or a truck driver, but actually running their networks. So that was kind of how it started. We created a software that managed all movement in Iraq, and then I came back here and applied it to business.
Awesome. And I know that some of the things that you're doing are really creating some automation and things like that. But how did you start Sticking your head?
No worries, no worries. Sticking Your Head was started by myself and Kyle Williams. We were two of the leading developers at our company. Well, not at our company, we're two separate companies. Our companies decided to merge, and we met each other and realized that, hey, we need to do this for ourselves. We need to really take this to the next level for mobile, next level for all the bleeding edge technology that's out there.
So you found out literally that that basically sales was working you like a couple of hamsters, and you figured, what's up with that?
Well, we realized that there's more analytical process that has to do with decisions in SEO rather than just throwing SEO or throwing social media, throwing things at a particular issue, which is the issues that develop leads. And instead of throwing all of these random, tactics, if you will, to actually analyze the situation, analyze the business, analyze the necessity, and create a plan, create campaigns that work, monitor each campaign, be able to track, how much each lead costs. People don't get that today, and they need to. If they're spending marketing dollars, especially on the internet, it's not radio. They need to be able to understand where these leads are coming from.
And you've got the ability to do that. I mean, do you develop the software and the systems? Is that what you guys are doing? We
work with a lot of libraries out there. There's no reason to start from scratch. There's no reason why any developer should ever begin starting their own metric tracking program when there's Google Analytics. When Google Analytics has its own API, and any certified developer will know that you can push data at it, whether it be call tracking metrics, whether it be any metrics, but understanding how those work and what pieces to plug in together to make it work seamlessly and quickly.
They used the term libraries. Now I think of something I'd go check a book out, but you're talking about
code libraries. Very similar. Code libraries are snippets, chunks of robust code that perform low-level desired actions.
So it's like pieces to a puzzle, and you guys are able to manipulate the pieces to create a desired result. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right.
So what are some of the new technologies that you guys are working on that is having the highest impact on the websites that you're developing?
A lot of the stuff that we're working on for lead generation is encompassed around social media, viral marketing. That's what's taking off right now. Being able to track conversion ratios and really understand which businesses and which business niches it applies to is also important, because it doesn't work for everything. But viral social media is definitely one of those.
How are you guys keeping up with Google's changes? It seems like it's funny. I was telling somebody the other day that that it used to be we were playing football and now we're playing cricket. I mean, they didn't just change the rules, they changed the whole game.
They do. They change the game kind of frequently, and a lot of that has to do with everything moving to the cloud. Now, that's such an overused term. I really want to stay away from it. But software, the way that it communicates is centralizing. And that's important because right now, these larger companies like Verizon, T-Mobile, any Fortune 500 company, it has to try to catch up to that. It's not something that they can just flip a switch on. So these other smaller companies like FreshBooks, companies that are cloud companies, are now all of a sudden competing with QuickBooks and Intuit. Because of cloud technology. It has opened the gate to allow smaller companies to make the change that's necessary for today, to get ahead of those guys and have better technology, lower running costs than these big guys.
So one of the things that I know people want to do is connect to you at thestickinyourhead.com, and I know that you have, we'll talk about it as we go along, but you've got a special offer for people. I know if they email you, and we put the contact information up for them on stickinyourhead.com. Visit the website, connect with Chris Heney and his group, and we've got more to come because the Business Spotlight is giving you tools to help you grow your business today. We'll be right back.
You can become a published author. Discover a system that will lead you from idea to having your book on the bookshelves. Bob Baer pulls back the curtain at the More Power to Publish workshop. Watch and learn how to follow the step-by-step plan to turn your idea into a published book. Learn more at morepowertopublish.com.
And welcome back to the Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar. My guest today is Chris Heney. Chris owns a company called stickinyourhead.com. It's really a website development company, but Chris has got some special talents in the website development area. He's one of these guys that, I like to say, if the internet was an iceberg, most of the rest of us, we breathe oxygen. We stay on the top part. Chris grew gills somewhere along the way, and he swims way down here. So let's talk a little bit more about what you're developing and that's having the biggest impact for your clients on their websites today.
A lot of the things that we're developing are centric around lead conversion. What a lot of people don't understand, even if they're doing pay-per-click or any kind of internet marketing campaign, is that if somebody invests $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month into pay-per-click, that the key is conversion, because the difference between an average of 1% conversion and a 2% conversion is the difference between a $2,000 marketing budget and a $4,000 marketing budget. And understanding that people are 4 times more likely to fill out a Mad Lib form because it's natural. That's what they're used to since kindergarten.
Mad Lib form.
Filling out the names. Hi, my name is, and then the other part of the form fills out, my name is Chris. I found you from, Selectbox, Google, and it's story driven, and people are way more likely to fill stuff like that out.
Then what? What the pay-per-click are typically doing?
Well, the conversion is once the visitor actually hits the page, whether or not they're going to fill out the form, continue browsing your website, or convert, which is to either call or fill out this form. So we optimize very, very, very heavily on conversion because realistically, that's your multiplier. That's your most important fact.
Well, it's the old, what are you really there for? Marketing
Right.
is to get phone ringing, door swinging is the way
Exactly.
I've heard it said, and I agree. I mean, marketing is everything. Everything is marketing, as Andrew Locke says. But the thing is that when you're talking about these different types of tools, what are some of the things that you're seeing that is really helping your clients the most? And if so, even beyond that, what are some things they could begin to look at for their business development in the online?
As we said before, cloud technologies, anything to be more in the cloud, using data that's already there, using Facebook's Open Graph data, which is if you use Facebook Open Graph Search, they just released it to beta actually just recently. So you can say people who like seafood in Dallas, and it'll show you everyone who likes seafood in Dallas. Understanding the Open Graph Search and integrating the Open Graph Searches has had our best results for our clients, as well as tools that allow them to specify what each page of their website tells Facebook, tells Google+, because each page is, I like to think about it like a noun. It's got all of these different describing parts to it, because Google's trying to figure out, hey, what is the best content, what is the best web page to give my customer, the client? You got to think of it as the searchers are Google's customer. Google's customer, I mean, Google wants to give them the best possible results. So the more that they know about your web page, the better. PageRank is going away. Social rank is going to completely change the way the game's going.
How important is video today? And I'm, a bit of a mercenary here. I love this stuff. This is what we build our program on, is taking the show and airing it locally and then distributing it on the internet. But how important is that?
Video is critical, absolutely critical. Actually, and I want to give a shout out to poolrefs.com. They're one that really understand that and take videos of all of the jobs that they do in their area. They also use technology with geolocate to be able to show with an area map their area of coverage. So if somebody types in their zip code that's in that area of coverage using all pre-existing data, it forwards them to a form, say, hey, let us help you out with your pool. If they don't, it forwards them to another conversion form that says, hey, let us find somebody to help service your pool.
Now, is that kind of development of a marketing strategy part of what you guys are doing?
Oh, absolutely. Our ideal is to get every piece of information from everybody that comes to the website or is close to.
And but you've got a strategy with your website that is, you start with, I know you start with your website and then it goes out. Now you have a diagram that you could email out to people, right? That would show them kind of the progression. Is that what you're doing there?
Absolutely. This is not just one thing that you do. As I said before, it's an analytical process. We have something called the holistic approach. It's a diagram starting at the center, which is your foundation, your domain, your website, and from there expands into the tools that you're going to need around that. And from there expands into the different marketing funnels, into the different automated distribution.
Now, tell me this, how would they get a hold of that?
If they send us an email, we'll totally take care of that.
Okay, and where would you like them to send that email?
Team@stickinyourhead.com.
Team@stickinyourhead.com will get the free thing. Now, but you'd really love for people to just call you. I know that you guys, we've had your number up on the screen, and the fact is they can just call that 972-919-0052. Right. And that will start a dialogue, right?
Right, because everybody knows that their website isn't performing. Everybody knows that, hey, I did buy this, it's just not doing what I thought it would. But actually picking up the phone and changing it, and the biggest hurdle we always have to come across is the fact that, chances are it's been built in the last, 3 years, just because that's the new trending. And
we've got to take a break here real quick here, Chris, but we're going to talk more about what exactly you guys are doing. This is the Business Spotlight. We'll be right back.
You can become a published author. Discover a system that will lead you from idea to having your book on the bookshelves. Bob Baer pulls back the curtain at the More Power to Publish workshop. Watch and learn how to follow the step-by-step plan to turn your idea into a published book. Learn more at morepowertopublish.com.
And welcome back to the Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar. My guest today is Chris Heney of stickinyourhead.com. He's I'll say website developer, but in a whole different breed. And one of the things that I've seen about Chris over the last several years, he's developed my website and several others that I've been a part of and seen, is that he's always using a bleeding technology, really keeping himself current on what Google and the other search engines are really looking for. His interest is getting your phone ringing, door swinging, right? It's getting results. Chris, thanks for being on the show. I want to talk this time a little bit more about who's your ideal client, because you guys do such cutting edge type of applications, I know that you tend to attract people that are of that mindset of movers and shakers, so to speak. I mean, people that are actually moving ahead. But tell me who your ideal client is.
Right now, our ideal client, since we are approaching a customer base, is that of somebody who is quick to decide, that knows that, you know, where their sore spots are, and also understands a little bit of technology, enough to know that what is working and what isn't.
And you guys work with people as far as the development may take a season, doesn't it? I mean, the implementation of your plan is not an overnight type of thing, is it? How long does it usually take to really integrate your systems of website and then the different pieces?
The timeline is really, really dependent on how much and how aggressive that you want to be. Very, very, very dependent. A lot of people like to go for what I would consider to be, you know, hey, this is the base. This is where I need to start. This is planting the seeds. And then let's watch the seeds grow. Let's go completely organic. Other people would like to start out Facebook campaigns, you know, PPC campaigns. And a lot of it is understanding what will work before you do it, not just, you know, doing the hammer and nail thing.
I know that when you guys put something like that together, you're really working with them all the way through the process. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Our traffic manager, Aaron Gehring, he walks the client through every step of the process. The client knows exactly what's going to happen. We have actually another awesome graphic that shows a timeline of the project, which with a Venn diagram Gantt view. It's kind of nice. It helps people understand the real work that goes into making things really successful.
How do people keep up with the content demands of Google today?
Content generation is important. Google is content thirsty. A lot of people choose to become bloggers themselves. A lot of people choose to source it to companies like us.
Now, when somebody's creating the content, they're getting out there, are there any things that they should be always keeping track of, things like reviews or the whole, you know, Google Maps? I mean, are those things very important?
Oh, absolutely. PR visibility. Right now, there's software out there that does sentiment analysis that can pull in your reviews from Yelp, from Google, from all the different places you get reviews, display them on your web page, even filter them. You know, so there's technologies out there that utilize all the amazing stuff out there, but then allow you to put your own spin on it and have a content management system wrapping around that is also very important.
And one of the things that I've said for a while now is that if you want Google love, you really need to play with Google's toys.
Right. 100%.
Any truth to that? I mean, Google Plus, the Hangouts, the YouTube. I mean, what is there? You know,
there's absolutely a lot of truth to that. Even our prediction APIs that we use Google to figure out what those are. Now, why that is important is if Google changes something, our software is already up to date because it's using the same APIs that Google used to change to, you know, generate keywords, to analyze content, to everything that our software does.
How good is Google's analytics now of video or audio without transcription?
It's getting much better. Images and Flash have really stepped up, as well as video. So Google has gotten really, really good at reverse searching, being able to understand even what a video's feeling was, or what it was directed, or categorization automatically. It can automatically categorize based on transcribed keyword, whether it's business, whether it's, you know, sports.
Well, when somebody's trying to build up their interactivity, what's the term you called it when you post something
Buzz.
And people see it and reshare it or whatever? What do they call that? What's the term?
I call it buzz.
Well, but the Google looks for they have a term for it. Used it a little while ago.
Pagerank?
No, what it basically means is that how attractive are you to others, and when you post something, how many people actually listen?
Right. Oh, Insights calls it something as well. Yeah, the word's eluding me right now.
But the idea is that people have this. It's really important now that when you are forming things like this, that you're forming it in a way that creates an attractor factor to interactivity, doesn't it?
Right.
So,
the more people talking about it, the more you have your business name, and the more unique, the better. I like Stick in Your Head for that reason. The more people talking about it, the more buzz created. Google detects that buzz. Google understands what's gaining in popularity. They have an entire API just completely based for that.
Okay, so I know one of the things, I don't mean to cut you off, but we'll have more to talk about that as we move forward in the business spotlight. This is Pat Dewar. More to come. We'll be right back.
You can become a published author. Discover a system that will lead you from idea to having your book on the bookshelves. Bob Baer pulls back the curtain at the More Power to Publish workshop. Watch and learn how to follow the step-by-step plan to turn your idea into a published book. Learn more at morepowertopublish.com.
Welcome back to the Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar. My guest today is Chris Heney of stickinyourhead.com. One of the things that you want to really watch for here is that Chris has a diagram that you can connect to him with team@stickinyourhead.com and get that diagram that shows you the roadmap to success on the internet. And what I mean by that is from website out to social media, all the pieces. So, Chris, we really do want to talk about people connecting to you and what the process is. So if somebody was to get a hold of you, they can email you, they can call you at what number, the 972-919-0052.
Right.
What's the process look like getting started with you?
It starts really just learning about your business, understanding what your goal is. If you don't know what people are, you don't know what you want people to do when they hit your website, we can't make that happen. So understanding what you want people to do is really important.
And then going from there, though, I mean, like once they've decided what they want people to do, and then how do you guys take people through that process?
Well, after the decision has been made, after the analyzing has been done, we set out several possible paths, usually in proposal format. And the client would choose which path that they want to take, pending budget, time frame, and other key factors that are going to matter to the client. It's all about.
And you guys are pretty affordable from, is there I don't want to say if there's a minimum, but I mean, is there what size client do you like to work with?
Well, starting out with our consumer base is starting at 5,000. Now, taking into consideration, we are right now approaching the consumer market. 80% of our revenue is actually by agencies who mark our stuff up by double and triple. However, we're trying to touch it, get a grasp into that consumer market and get our message out there.
Very good. And I know that when you talk consumer, it really is to most businesses because.
Right. Yeah, B2B, not B2B2B.
Really? So when you guys are developing the website, do you create the content, or is it basically the backbone and then you work with the client to create content?
We can do both, whichever fits the needs of the client. A lot of people don't have the time for that content. Actually, quite frankly, it's the biggest hang-up. One of the things that we notice while working with clients is the fact that I've ran into it myself on our own About Us page. I stared at it for 3 hours. So I said, this is time to source this.
Well,
it's harder when you're selling.
It is. I mean, most people are good at selling somebody else than themselves.
Right, 100%.
And so the thing is that you actually have either whether it's ghostwriters or whatever you call those people that are going to go in and develop that. But then, as far as the strategy and the implementation, how much of that do you guys take on?
We see it through to the launch of the site. After the launch of the site, if there are other pieces in place like reporting, a lot of times we do consultation. So there can be, post-development consultation. But yeah.
And then you can even do you can manage their PPC campaigns. You can develop all of that stuff for them. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct. Understanding the keywords that are applicable which is why the Google tools are so important, is hands down the biggest traffic generator.
Right. Well, one of the things that I know you guys do is look at not just the keywords that are getting traffic, but aren't you guys actually looking for the ones that are the words that are generally more apt to convert?
Apt to convert, as well as other important factors. And I'm going to take David Barry's insurance program. He wrote about a specific law that was specific to truck drivers. You know, after that, he got all of these people that are searching specifically for information about that law. Now, it had nothing to do with insurance or what he did per se, but his content was written for his target market. And the keyword matched up with a certain percent of the density, allowing for Google to like it.
Like it. And I know that he did really well with that campaign.
Trust it.
Yeah, it was crazy. I heard the stories and I was thrilled with that. But even the some of the other people that you guys are working with that are really trying to create their content, but you have systems to make them even more visible, don't you?
Absolutely. NASA came out with webhooks not that long ago. Webhooks is an amazing way to automate. If anything happens on the web, then do something else, or huge chains of events. You know, send out this SMS. After sending out this SMS, post this video, transcribe it, wait till this time on Twitter to post it out to Twitter, because that's when your target market checks their tweets. Stuff like that, and intelligent implementation of these webhooks.
And that's what you guys do just with your clients, isn't that correct?
Absolutely.
I mean, so what about, like, I want to say with video and things like that, are there any things that people should be doing with their videos that would help them just get more visibility? And granted, that's kind of a self-serving.
Right.
I want to learn.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. Having the appreciation for the video, sending out to those social networks, being able to transcribe everything that you do, quite frankly, you know, which is one of the big reasons why I'm here, is I understand that it works.
Yeah. Well,
and I appreciate it too.
No, it's always good. One of the things, you built my site, you've done a lot of other things for me, and I'm so thankful for that. People can get to you at team@stickinyourhead.com.
Right.
They can go to stickinyourhead.com. They can call you. Obviously, that's the best way, because that actually, I mean, everything starts with a dialogue, right?
Yeah, people are slow to get started. It's just making that decision, making a decision and do it.
919-972-0052. This is a business spotlight, and today we've been talking to Chris Heney of stickinyourhead.com, telling his story into the marketplace, because quite honestly, if you're a business owner, you need to know Chris. I've seen the results that he's generated. You need to connect with Chris as quickly as possible. Go to stickinyourhead.com and connect with him. As we move forward, thank you so much. We'll be expanding our marketplaces real shortly. This Business Spotlight we'll see you next time.